Betty? Oh, hello, Harvey. Gave me a scare for a minute.
I'll take it, Frankie.
It must be a gag of some kind. It's a note. Betty wrote it.
She didn't write it, Frankie. I did.
What's the idea, Harvey?
Here you've been carrying her picture around. I'll take that, too.
Harvey, don't. Give me a break.
Hello, Mr. Bogardus. Mary and I were just, we come here Saturday afternoons. Don't we, Mary?
Like that kid, don't you? So do I. Let's take a little walk and make sure that nothing happens to her.
Over there.
Okay, thanks. You didn't see me here today. Neither did she. Do we understand each other?
Yes, sir. Sure, Mr. Bogardus. Sure.
I want to speak to James J. Kennery. This is Harvey Bogardus. Hello, Jim. Dust off your law books. I'm in a jam.
And don't forget those 2 ringside seats for the Daily Globe. Send Frazier in.
It's the idea of the book. City editors can't read.
And if you're an example, Globe reporters can't write.
Thanks.
I just talked to Warden Lewis. The governor denied a stay of execution. Bogardus goes through that little green door at 8 o'clock tonight.
Sorry, old boy, but I got a date to cover a flower show.
We're covering that execution, Matt. I'll be there to catch you when you faint.
Why do city editors get a sadistic joy out of sending reporters to executions? Don't you ever get tired of that same old story? Condemned man eats hearty meal.
We might get a new slant this time. Say, I think you know the guy that wrote this, Dr. Paul Renwick.
I know his daughter better.
Hop over to see her right away, this afternoon. Hold hands with her in a corner.
On the Globe's time? What's the catch?
I just had a tip from the warden. Renwick's got a pass to visit Bogardus at 7 o'clock tonight. Now, why should a spook doctor want to see the condemned man 1 hour before he goes to the chair?
I pass.
There might be a story in it, Matt. Talk to this Renwick girl for us.
Anything for the dear old Globe.
Wait a minute. Do you believe in this spirits speak from beyond the grave stuff?
I'm a reporter. I deal in facts. But there are a lot of people who believe in that, and they're not crackpots either. Enough to make good copy for a Sunday feature, but not with a paper that uses all of its space with condemned man eats hearty meal stories.
Matt Frazier's running down a lead for me. While he's at it, tell him to get an interview with Dr. Paul Renwick for a Sunday edition.
Hello, Canadian. How about this waltz, huh?
The doctor is expecting you, Mr. Fraser.
You mean Joan isn't? little on the heavy side, honey. How about some boogie-woogie?
Matt, someday I'm going to tie bells on you. Yes, Cornelia?
Excuse me, Joan. I'll tell Dr. Renwick you're here, Mr. Fraser.
Thank you. Too bad you can't do something about pain in the face. She's the only dark cloud on a sunshiny morning.
Cornelia takes life seriously. She lives in the past.
No future in that. And speaking of the future, here's something for yours.
A present? What is it?
Why do women always ask, what is it, before they open a present?
Probably because they've already guessed what it is and just want to be polite.
Before you go any further, there's strings attached to that present. It's in the form of a bribe.
A bribe?
Uh-huh. Yeah, my illustrious boss wants to know why your father's going up to the state pen tonight to visit Harvey Bogardus.
Are you serious?
Sure, I'm serious.
Well, perhaps you better ask him yourself, Matt. You might have better luck than I did. Well, thanks just the same.
Oh, no, no. No, you keep that. We'll charge that to the swindle sheet.
You wrapped this yourself, of course.
Uh-huh. During my summer vacation. Don't drop it. It's glass.
Oh, Matt.
It's supposed to go on the third finger left hand. The jeweler told me. I asked him. Lack of experience.
Lack of experience.
The doctor is waiting, Mr. Fraser.
How'd you like to go out tonight and celebrate? I can get an extra ticket.
An extra ticket to what?
To the execution of a guy named Harvey Bogardus.
Oh, you.
I've been interviewed by the press many times in the past, and the ensuing articles have been decidedly uncomplimentary. However, due to the reporter's interest in my daughter, I'd rather hope for better treatment.
I guess the press has been pretty rough on you, hasn't it?
Well, it's the same old story. We're supposed to be living in an advanced age, and yet we're still prone to ridicule anything that we don't quite understand.
Well, a lot of morons laughed at the Wright brothers, because they said they could build a flying machine.
It isn't only the moron that attacks new fields of scientific advancement, Matt. As a matter of fact, I've been ridiculed by some of the greatest minds in the world. There's one of them.
I offer $10,000 to any so-called spiritualist who can prove to me that he can actually communicate with the spirit of a dead person. Signed, Carrington the Great. 10 grand. That's something to shoot for, Doctor.
I didn't enter the field of psychic science for profit. If that had been my goal, I could have held seances in this room all day long and charged anything I wanted to for them. Spirit readings, ghostly fingers, voices coming out of trumpets, the whole business. No, there's something far more important than that, I assure you.
Carrington the Great, he was a magician, wasn't he?
Yes. Very brilliant man. And a great mind. It's too bad that he had to die before I proved my theory to him.
Do you mean to tell me you've communicated with the dead?
Well, Matthew, first of all, let me clarify my basic theory. As we all know, man exists on the physical plane with a body and a brain. Those of us who follow any religion believe that he has something else, a spirit, a soul. Now, I contend that the body and brain are not merely composed of physical cells that decay after death. They're allied with the spirit, an intangible energy, a force that cannot possibly die. There's only one experiment left, Matt, and I'm very close to it. Would you care to see the lavatory?
Yes, I would.
Nothing complicated about it. As you can see for yourself. I simply draw the curtain. It's light-proof and practically soundproof. This is not for any spooky effect, I assure you. But the extreme concentration necessary for my experiments requires the complete absence of any worldly interferences. I sit alone, here, in this chair.
And who sits in that chair?
That is a question I shall be able to answer in the near future. You don't believe in my theories, do you, Matt?
Why do you say that?
Oh, nothing. Just your expression. I hope your paper won't be too rough with me.
Oh, you don't have to worry on that score. Joan will tell you why.
Any other questions, man?
Yes. I'd like to know why you're going up to state prison tonight to visit Harvey Bogardus 1 hour before he dies.
And that's another question I'd rather not answer. Hey, lay off that holy solo, will you? This is my party tonight, and I'll take it without music.
Nick likes it. Let's give him a break, Harvey. He's going out too, you know. Seven o'clock, Harvey. Here's Dr. Renwick.
Tell him to go. Okay, let him in. Sit down, Doc. Cigarette?
No, thanks. I don't smoke. Did you read my book?
I read it.
Did you believe in any of it?
No. I don't mind saying there's parts of it I'd like to believe in.
What parts?
About coming back. Take a party like I'm going on tonight. Too bad coming back after that's got to be just a kid's fairy tale.
Doesn't have to be a kid's fairy tale, Bogardus. That's why I came to see you.
What are you trying to sell me, Doc?
Another life after tonight.
For how much?
For just your desire for it. Your will to return. If you've read my book carefully, you'll know what I mean. In the past, psychic scientists have failed to contact the dead. Not because of the weakness of their own wills and powers of concentration, but because something happens to the will of the departed spirit. I'm a scientist, Bogardus, not a preacher. It may be that the world beyond, the world we know nothing about, is so far advanced from this one that there isn't the slightest desire to return to the living past. My experiments have taught me one unquestionable fact, that when a man dies in body on this earth, he cannot return in spirit substance unless his will to return is strong enough to reach back from beyond the grave.
Where do I fit in?
You, Harvey Bogardus, have the strongest will I've ever encountered.
You never even saw me before.
No, but I know everything about you. How you've carved a career in the world with no background, no assistance, no academic education. You've lifted yourself by the bootstraps by sheer will. I do not, of course, approve of the life you've led. You're a menace to society, and you deserve to die.
So this is where the sermon comes in, huh?
No, Harvey. I'm not here to preach. I'm here to tell you that in a way, 2 ways we're similar. Both of us are on the outs with society's traditions. You because you live outside its laws, and I because my theories are not acceptable to present-day beliefs. We are also similar in that we have a supernatural will to succeed.
Get to the point, Doc. What do you want?
You're the man I've been waiting for. Waiting 30 years. You have a will that's strong enough to return to this world from beyond the grave if you wanted to.
Wanted to. Listen. You know what I'd like to do? I'd like to come back and get... Who do you think you're kidding?
It's not hard to die. It's the coming back that's hard. But we can do it.
We? Where do you get that we stuff? I'm just about to walk through that door to the chair. Not with you. Me. Alone.
But you're coming back, Bogart.
You want to keep this for me? Just for a few days. I'll claim it when I come back. You're a crackpot. Get out of here.
You may doubt me now. But think about what I've said. Concentrate on it. Your last thought as you leave this world. I'm going into that room with you, Harvey Bogardus. And I will bring you back.
Leadeth me in the pathways of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I would fear no evil, for thou art with me.
Okay. So I killed a rat. He got what was coming to him. And I know some others that'll get the same thing. I'm not through yet. Hear me? Not yet.
I pronounce this man dead.
Hello, Cornelia. What are you so happy about?
Dr. Renwick and Joan are in the living room.
You know, I should have given you my pass to the execution. You'd have loved it. Don't look now, but you got company. Is anything wrong?
We were just reading your article, Matt.
No, same old story. Condemned man ate hearty meal. I wish somebody else wrote it.
I wish somebody else wrote this one.
Joan means this.
Spiritualism versus common sense. Daily Globe exposes psychic fakes. I didn't write that head.
The beginning is well written, too. Can the spirits of your relatives come back from the dead to converse with you? There's a psychic scientist in the city who claims they can, but there's a reporter on this paper who claims they can't.
Let me see that.
They can't all be topographical errors, Matt. Carrington the Great, late man of magic and chief contender in the Spook Doctors versus Living Facts, once offered $10,000 to any so-called spiritualist who could prove conversational contact with the dead.
Spook Doctors. Only Charlie Davis could have written it that way.
The Daily Globe goes the late Carrington 10-bet and offers $20,000 for the same proof. Here it is in black and white, by Matt Fraser.
Excuse me, I'd like to use your phone.
No, Joni, don't do that. He's a nice chap, and he's very much in love with you. And after all, he's only doing his job.
He's not a nice chap, and he's only in love with his own brand of yellow journalism. And I'm glad I found it out in time.
Hello, Davis. What's the idea of that Sunday supplement? You know what I mean, that stuff under my byline.
Now listen, Matt, that's a hot yarn, and you'll get a bonus for it. Of course, the Globe didn't authorize you to write the interview quite that hot, but don't you worry about a thing. We'll protect you with our own attorneys in case you're sued for libel.
You listen to me. If there's going to be anything like that, I'll be on the suing end. And I want a correction on that byline in the next edition. You know perfectly well I didn't write it that way. You twisted every line of it, you and that stooge you keep on rewrite. And you can explain that to Dr. Renwick and to Joan.
Harvey Bogardus. This is Dr. Paul Renwick. Bogardus. This is Renwick. Harvey Bogardus.
Anybody heard from Matt Frazier yet?
He called about his closing check. He's coming in for it this morning.
Hold it up. Tell him I want to see him.
Okay, and there's a Miss Joan Renwick waiting.
Send her in. Have a chair, Miss Renwick. I suppose you're here to ask me if Matt really wrote that story about your father.
Well, no, You mean Matt didn't really write that article?
I wrote it.
Thanks, I appreciate your telling me.
Well, after all, I'm not in business to bust up romances. Sit down, Miss Renwick.
Thank you.
Besides, good reporters are kind of hard to get these days. You know, Matt quit the paper because of that article.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But, Mr. Davis, I'm here to see you about something else that's pretty important, too.
Go right ahead, Miss Renwick.
Mr. Davis, I'm not trying to make you believe in my father's work. I'm merely asking you to print his side of it.
We print the news as we see it.
Only one side? I thought it was your policy to print both sides of a controversy.
You got me there.
If you thought one side made such good news, what about writing the other?
You got me again, but, well, after all, I'm hardly the man to write the other side.
What about Matt Frazier?
That's a great idea. And if that assignment doesn't bring Matt back to the paper, nothing will.
Mr. Davis, I'm terribly worried about my father. Since Sunday, he's kept himself locked in his study. Nerves on edge, no sleep, practically nothing to eat. Well, if it continues much longer, I don't know what'll happen. And about psychic science, Mr. Davis. You and I may not understand it, may not believe in it. But there's lots of people who do. And it is important.
Harvey Bogardus. Harvey Bogardus. This is Dr. Paul Renwick. Dr. Renwick, Harvey.
Dr. Renwick.
Yes, Harvey, I can hear you. This is Renwick.
Dr. Renwick.
I'm here. Concentrate your will on the materialization of your spirit substance. I want you to appear. Tonight. Here. Now. In this room.
Watch, Doctor. Watch.
Yes. I'm watching.
I did it. I've proved it.
You mean we proved it, Doctor?
Well, of course, of course. I could have never done it without you. Without your will.
There's some things I can't do without you. I've got hands, but I can't pick anything up with them. I've got legs, but I can't walk around on them. These eyes, all I can see is you, Renwick. But I've got a mind.
A will, Harvey. Not a mind.
Call it whatever you want. I can think with it. I can think myself right into this room with you.
Of course you can. That's why I sought you out at the prison. I told you that that will of yours had a power almost as strong as my own.
Almost? I've got a will that's better than yours.
You mean stronger?
This much stronger. I can take your mind over. I can take you over.
That's a fact I've sought all my life to prove. That a spirit from the dead could take possession of the living. If we can conduct a successful experiment along those lines, we can prove that there's no such thing as insanity. It's a case of a spirit from the beyond, crowding out the mind and spirit of the living.
Want to try it, Doctor?
Yes, of course.
Just sit where you are and watch me. Watch. Just sit there. Don't move. Look at your hands, Doc. Look. They're like mine. Look in the mirror, Doc. Go ahead, take a look. A good look at us. But don't let's waste time, Doctor. We've got things to do. Things to do.
Reply to the Stevens letter. Referring to yours of the 16th regarding the Harrison Greenlee case, I have consulted my client and found him agreeable to any reasonable settlement out of court. Our evidence, as you know, warrants...
Fat fee, Jim.
What do you want?
You remember me, Jim.
Your voice. The way you smoke that cigarette. This is crazy.
I go to the chair because you lose my case. That's what's crazy. Should have been the other way around, Jim. It will be, too.
Gosh. Don't.
Yeah, Kennerly. James J. Kennerly. You spell it with 3 E's. He was a famous criminal lawyer. His last big case was the Harvey Bogardus murder trial. He lost it.
Find anything yet?
Not yet. Try this thing. The guy must have stood right here.
Yeah, the coroner just left. He said 3 slugs entered the body. The news kid on the corner heard 3 shots. The time was 11:48. That's all for now. I'll call you later.
Have you boys been smoking cigarettes in here?
Not me.
Hey, wait a minute. I knew a guy that used to break his cigarettes in two like that. His name was Harvey Bogardus. You knew him, too.
Lay off the rib. Bogardus is dead and buried.
Say, Lieutenant, the kid just remembered something. He sold a paper to somebody right after he heard the shots.
Just where'd you sell him this paper?
Right outside. I don't remember whether he came out of the building or not.
Did you get a good look at him?
I didn't pay very much attention to him. I sold him my last paper. The front page was dirty because I dropped it in the gutter, but he bought it anyhow.
Now, that's great. All we got to do is find a paper with a dirty front page, and we got our man.
Better take this boy down to headquarters, Lynn, and spend a few hours looking through the mug books.
Found him agreeable to any reasonable settlement out of court. Our evidence, as you know, warrants...
That fee, Jim?
What do you want?
You remember me, Jim.
You boys, the way you smoke that cigarette, this is crazy.
I go to the chair because you lose my case. That's what's crazy. Should have been the other way around, Jim. It will be, too.
Bogardus, don't.
Cornelia, I think I must have walked in my sleep last night. I can't remember leaving the house. What time did I get up?
Your bed wasn't slept in. You're working much too hard, Doctor.
I can't seem to remember. Did you see me leaving the house?
No, I didn't.
Has Joan said anything about it?
No, we both thought you were in the study last night.
Cornelia, I don't want to worry Joan, so...
Oh, of course not. You haven't had any breakfast. I'll get you a tray.
Thank you, Cornelia. Oh, thank you, Cornelia, but if you don't mind, I'd rather be left alone.
No. Your eyes are all right, Renwick. And I know what else you're thinking, that you're losing your mind. Maybe you are. What difference does it make? You lose your mind, you win mine.
It's impossible.
Impossible for me to come back? You mean because you didn't concentrate over in that tent? You don't need to concentrate anymore, Renwick. My will's enough now. I don't need any help from you. I don't even need this room. I can come back anytime, any place.
A lifetime of work with the supernatural. Only to have brought about something I can't control.
Maybe you think last night didn't happen, Renwick. Maybe you think Kennerly didn't really get shot last night. Where were you last night, Dr. Renwick? Or maybe I ought to put it this way. Where were we last night? That's the brand of cigarettes I always smoked. We bought that pack near Kennerly's office last night, remember? And afterwards, we bought that newspaper from the kid on the corner, remember?
I remember nothing about last night. Nothing.
That's on account of you were me last night. You're going to be me again tonight.
Bogardus, leave me alone.
There's the little lady we're going to get next, Renwick. My widow. She lied on the witness stand. Said she never knew Frankie Teal before. You'll see a ring on her finger. That's a ring I gave her. She's got the nerve to still wear it after sending me to the chair. But she won't be wearing it after tonight, Renwick. Not after tonight.
My mind seems a little bit hazy. I just can't put the pieces together. Maybe I got too romantic. Maybe the moon was too bright. When did we break up? And who smeared my makeup? Who took me home last night? I looked in the mirror this morning. I was a miserable sight. Say, who was my envoy? Did I have a convoy? Who took me home last night? The night was as bright as a penny, and he gave me a kiss or two. But maybe I had one too many. Did I like it? I wish that I knew. I've got a sneaking suspicion someone was holding me tight.
Waiter,
I liked what he said.
take this note to Miss Hansel.
What we said before we said good night. But who took me home last
Don't go too far away, Pop. I might not like Mr. Brownfield's proposition. Are you Mr. Brownfield?
No. I'll take my ring back, Betty.
No. Harvey!
What did he look like?
I don't know. Pretty dark out here. All I know, he's some fella that wanted to see Betty out here after the show. Gave her this, I guess. She told me to stick around in case she didn't like his proposition.
Bromfield.
That's not the name she called him. Not after she saw him. I heard him say something about wanting to get a ring. A diamond ring Betty always wore. He pulled it off her finger.
What name did she call him?
Harvey. Harvey Bogardus. Same as her husband.
Her husband's dead.
I know, but that's what she called him. Before she died, she kept saying to me, it was Harvey. Harvey Bogardus. He's alive. Still alive. You know, it seems to me a woman ought to know her own husband when she sees him.
Owen. I just picked this up. It's the same as you found in Kennerly's office. It's the same brand Bogardus smokes, and the same way he always smoked.
Listen, Bogardus died in the electric chair exactly 3 weeks ago. You were there, you saw it with your own eyes, or did you forget it?
Matt, did you say something? Good morning, Doctor. Say something? No, I didn't say anything.
Renwick.
She plays beautifully, doesn't she? I think I'll give up my job and get her one.
They can't hear us, Renwick. It's just our minds talking. Yours and mine. Mostly mine. Renwick, let's not sit here wasting our time. You and me have work to do. Remember Louis Fabian? Remember that little kid of his? They saw me in the park that day. The day I killed Frankie Teal. And they went to court and pointed me out on the witness stand. Remember, Doctor? Well, they're in the park again today, Renwick. Both of them. The man and the kid. So let's you and me take a walk in the park.
No!
Excuse me, my mind must have been wandering, I guess. Compliment to your playing, Tony. I'll be right back. I just remembered an appointment.
He's been working awfully hard lately.
Yes, too hard. I'll have a talk with him. Cornelia, does Dr. Renwick smoke cigarettes now?
Yes. Dr. Renwick has been under a great strain. I thought they might soothe him. As a matter of fact, I bought him a package just last night.
This brand?
That brand.
Where to? Police headquarters.
Chief Dispatcher.
This is Frazier, the Daily Globe. Your cab number 64 just picked up a passenger at 928 Green Street. And on the QT, I want to know where he takes the passenger.
I'll ask the driver, Frazier, when he checks in after the run.
Thanks, and call me back at Elmwood, 40905.
Driver, I've changed my mind. Take me to the park. Lincoln Park.
Okay, Doc. The park she is.
That's probably for me. I'll answer. Frazier speaking.
I got the dope for you, Frazier. The driver of cab number 64 just dropped his fare off at the Sycamore Avenue entrance to Lincoln Park. Anything else you want?
That's plenty, thanks. Well, I'm on my way. I'm sorry I can't have lunch with you. Can I have a rain check?
Trouble, Matt?
Work. That's always trouble. Bye-bye, sweet.
Goodbye.
Whee! That a nice horse, Mary?
May I sail my boat, Daddy?
Yes, honey, you was a good girl, so Daddy's gonna let you sail your boat right now. Come on.
Hello. What are you doing, little girl?
I'm sailing my boat. Would you like to help me? It's a suit. I know you.
Oh, you do? Who am I?
You were in the park before. You've been here once with my daddy and I. I remember. You were in the courtroom. Daddy! 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 Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up, Daddy! Wake up!
Hello, Mary. Remember me?
My daddy won't wake up.
I have a taxi waiting. Shall we leave, Doctor?
Leave, Cornelia? Leave? Why did we ever come here at all?
We must leave here at once, Doctor. Matt Fraser followed you here. He probably wants some sort of interview. I'm sure you don't feel up to it. Not today.
Thank you, Cornelia. No, I don't feel at all well.
I found this fellow climbing over the wall.
Hi, Owen.
This was supposed to be strictly on the QT. How'd the press hear about it?
Dear old grapevine, that's how we keep our job. Say, you got a court order for this, or just doing it as a hobby?
Come here, Matt. I want to talk to you. Look here, I don't want you to print anything about this. Now till we see how it turns out. Do you know why I'm doing this?
Well, you've got a fingerprint expert there, and you're digging up Harvey Bogardus. I can add 2 and 2.
2 people died under circumstances that point to Bogardus as the only logical killer.
3. Don't forget the guy in the park this afternoon.
Well, all right, 3. Remember this?
Yeah. That's the note that lured Betty Hensel into the alley.
That's the note that killed her. So I had the handwriting examined. It so closely resembles Bogardus' style of handwriting, 2 experts couldn't tell the difference.
Then you think maybe you sent the wrong guy to the chair, huh?
Bogardus' twin brother or something. I don't know what to think, Matt. I'm stumped and I admit it.
Seems they're about ready for me down here.
Go ahead. You got enough light?
Yeah. Say, that little girl in the park this afternoon was almost the 4th victim. I told the chief he better put a double guard around her. I hope you don't mind me running your job for you.
I wish somebody had run it for me. I've had about enough. What's the verdict, Harry?
Well, as the old saying goes, fingerprints don't lie. That's Bogardus, all right, and he's too dead to be going around shooting people. Unless he's got a ghost.
Park today. That reporter's getting wise, Renwick. We've got to do something about him, too.
Bogardus, leave me alone or I'll...
You'll what, Renwick? What can you do? No, Renwick. Hear me? No, not yet. Renwick, it takes a lot of will to turn a gun on yourself. My will says no, Renwick. And my will beats yours. That's better, Renwick. Let's save the gun for Matt Fraser.
Bogardus, leave me alone. Haven't you done enough?
Dr. Renwick, Doctor.
Don't answer, Renwick.
Cornelia! Cornelia, come in. Close the door, please, dear.
I heard your voice, Doctor. I thought that...
Cornelia, if Matt Fraser calls this afternoon, I can't see him. Send him away. I can't explain why, but I have a very excellent reason.
I know, Doctor.
Yes, you do know, don't you? That's the reason you warned me this morning that he was following me to the park. But I don't want anything to happen to him. You do believe that, don't you, Cornelia?
I do believe you, Doctor.
You've been a loyal friend, Cornelia, and I want you to help me.
I'll do anything I can.
I want you to call the district attorney and tell him that I've got to see him at once. I can't continue like this. I've got to place myself in his charge. And I'm counting on you to see that nothing happens to make me change my mind.
That's the right thing to do.
It's the only thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Thank you, Cornelia.
I'll call the district attorney right away.
What's the idea, Renwick? Packing up?
Yes, I'm packing up. I'm packing up the evidence to convict myself of murder. But you can't stop me, Bogardus. I'm on my way to see the district attorney.
Sure you are. We both are. We'll see him tonight, Renwick. But not for the reason you think. He's on our list, too, remember? No, Renwick, not in the package. Put the gun in your pocket. In your pocket. In your pocket.
The district attorney is expecting you. I told him it was terribly important.
Driver.
Yes, sir.
The lady will return with you.
But you said you wanted me to go with you.
I've changed my mind, Cornelia.
That's just what you asked me not to let you do.
Cornelia, go home.
I only want to help you, Doctor. I only want to do what's best for you. What you yourself know is best.
Goodbye, Cornelia.
Is this all we have to offer our bloodthirsty readers? 3 people get knocked off and all the Globe prints is names and addresses. Haven't you even got a theory?
Yeah, I got a theory. But the Daily Globe is supposed to print facts.
Any harm in telling your editor?
The theory I've got, I wouldn't even tell to my mother. In the first place, it's crazy. In the second place, I don't believe it. And there's still another reason. Personal.
Steady desk. Oh, it's for you.
Frazier speaking.
It's about Dr. Renwick. Well, he's not himself tonight. I don't know if you understand me. I mean, he went to see the district attorney, and I'm afraid he...
When? Where?
Just now, Mr. Frazier, to the city hall.
Thank you, Cornelia. Okay, keep trying to get the DA, and when you do get him, tell him to wait for me. It's important.
Something break?
Let's keep our fingers crossed something didn't break.
Set up, but I'd like to get a statement from his wife.
You better get a statement from that Henry girl, too. You'll need it.
All right, Owen. See you in the morning.
Night, Walter.
Good night.
Hey, Owen.
Hello, Matt. What's up?
You seen Dr. Renwick?
Where did you hear about that? Grapevine again? No, I waited long enough. Besides, it's going to take a lot more than the spook doctor to solve these Bogardus killings.
Is that what he wanted to see you about?
Oh, some crackpot theory. He probably wanted to charge me $10 to look in the crystal ball and see the killer.
Better let me drive you home, Owen.
Wait a minute, Matt. You don't really think I'm next on the killer's list, do you?
Figure it out for yourself. Remember Kennelly, the lawyer that lost the Bogardus case? He was number 1, then his lying wife. Number 3 was Louis Fabian in the park, a witness. The little kid was almost 4th, another witness. And you were the prosecutor that sent Bogardus to the chair.
Well, I hate to admit it, but this thing's really beginning to give me the creeps. You know, Matt, I have a hunch you know more about this case than you're telling.
Oh, I'm over a barrel, Owen. I've been driving myself nuts all afternoon. If I talk, I'll be double-crossing somebody, and if I don't talk, I might be double-crossing a lot of people.
You know who the killer is?
I think I do.
What are you going to do about it?
What can I do about it? There might be a 4th killing, and I don't want that on my conscience.
Well, you can tell me, after all. Huh?
Well, I'll tell you all right, but you'll think I'm crazy.
Well, I have for a long time. Try it anyway.
Yes, that's right, Matt. Try it anyway.
Who is he, Matt?
Dr. Paul Renwick. It's all right, Doctor.
Matt. Matt, where am I?
It's all right, Doctor.
What are we doing here?
Hello, Doctor.
Good evening, man.
I don't have to tell you how I feel about this, Doctor.
Worse than I do, no doubt. Just sit down a minute.
Tell me about Cornelia. Well, there's nothing more to tell. She went away yesterday. It'll be at least a year. There's no way around the law, and there's nothing any of us could do.
She had nothing to do with it, Matt. Absolutely nothing. If she shielded me in any way, it was because of her loyalty to my work.
Not only to your work, to you.
Yes, that's what makes it doubly difficult. Joan, too. I've made a mess of her life.
Joan doesn't think so.
More unwarranted loyalty. Do you know why I asked you here, Matt?
I hope to tell me you're not guilty, Doctor.
I wish I could tell you that, but I can't. I am guilty, Matt. First the attorney, then Miss Hansel, then the man in the park.
But why?
I don't know. It's just all like a dream. You can remember some parts of the dream, not all of it. The rest is blank. But I didn't invite you here to tell you all that again.
Why did you invite me?
You've witnessed a good many of these executions, Matt. I don't feel that I'm asking too much. I want you to witness mine.
Yours? I'm sorry, Doctor.
I'm thinking of Joan. I want you to be able to tell her that I left this world easily and with no fear.
There'll be others to tell her.
I want you to tell her, Matt. It's my last request. I feel that I must insist.
Anything else, Doctor?
No, thanks, Matt. That's all.
Goodbye, Doctor.
Time's up, Mr. President.
How's he holding up?
Perfectly.
Any signs of insanity yet?
That's what I can't understand.
Dr. Renwick. Dr. Paul Renwick.
I hope you're satisfied, Bogart.
Satisfied? You let me down, Renwick. We still had Fabian's kid to get and the DA and Matt Fraser.
That's one thing I can be thankful for, that we were stopped.
What do you mean, stopped? It's going to be your will, not mine, that dies on the chair tonight, Renwick. I'm leaving you forever, right here and now. When you go into that other room through that little green door, I won't be going along with you, Renwick. My will's gonna live on and come back again.
Bogart, leave me alone.
Sure, I'll let you alone, all alone. 3 months ago, right in this cell, you said to me that it's not hard to die. The shoe's on the other foot now, Renwick. Let's see how hard it is for you.
All set, Doctor?
I'm ready, Tom.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me.
Okay, so I killed a rat. He got what was coming to him. And I know some others that'll get the same thing. I'm not through yet. Hear me? Not yet.
Did you hear what he said?
The same thing Harvey Bogardus said just 3 months ago in this room.
To see his face, he looked just like Bogardus. He even talked like him.
I wonder if it was Bogardus.
I pronounce this man dead.